So our objective today, working in the small groups, is to analyze the standards for the literacy part of CTE so that your instruction deliberately matches the DOK level of the standard. So we're going to use this example. Write informative text including specific procedures, experiments, or technical processes that include precise descriptions and conclusions drawn from data and research. So if you look at the blue paper from PL on Friday, the deconstruction process, you write the standard on the worksheet, and then the first thing they're going to do is to identify the noun phrases, and the third step is the verb. Sometimes it's actually easier though, I think, if you just look at maybe the verb first. And so write is obviously a verb, and we're looking through this. Now this particular standard is really task heavy, and so if I'm coming down through it, I say, okay, so draw is a verb, even though drawn isn't, but you're looking for those chunks of words that can become verbs. And so if I have these two verbs, and I'm looking at the rest of it, so these are my noun phrases that I am looking at. And again, this is a good example because when we talk about Bloom versus DOK, Bloom is all about the verb, and DOK is about the verb but the task that's intended to go along with it. So if I just say the verbs write and draw, that doesn't sound like it's very rigorous. But if I say write informative text including scientific procedures, experiments, or technical processes, all of a sudden I definitely am seeing the rigor. And so that's why DOK really does make for a better system of looking for that. And we're looking for precise descriptions and conclusions drawn from the data and research. So as a team today, what you are going to try to do is to complete this goldenrod sheet, and beginning with the end in mind, the most important thing is when we're done, we really want to have those discussions about what do I do deliberately in my instruction to hit this CTE literacy standard. So peeling it back or deconstructing is just what has to happen for me to say, yes, I do match this and this is what I do. So on the back you'll see implications for instruction, and that is by far the end goal for what we're doing. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is for a moment look at this, and as a team take a couple minutes and decide on step number 3, what are the terms that are in this standard that might have multiple interpretations. So go ahead and do that together. All right, so once you have your list of the terms that you think might have multiple interpretations, you could have technical processes, you could have precise descriptions, exactly how much description is needed on that. Drawing a conclusion, you may want specific facts, you may want a generalization, what it is that you're having students pull exactly. So that could be different, and every small group could have a different part there and multiple interpretations. So the next section is the securely held content. Now, when you look at this particular standard, this is an interesting one because if you look at the vertical articulation guide, you will see that sometimes in grades 6 through 8, grades 9 and 10, and then the band that we deal with, 11 and 12, sometimes you will see this natural progression in skill, or that it gets more cognitively rigorous each grade level band. But with this particular standard, you'll see it doesn't change, that it's the exact same rigor in 6 through 8 and 9 through 10 and 11 through 12. Nothing in the wording changes on this. So that tells you that it's not about the verbs, it's about what you're doing. And so we know that, for instance, with your technical books, that the Lexile for most of your classes are at the entry college level and not a high school level text. So we can look at this and say, drawing conclusions may be more difficult at our level because the technical vocabulary is so much higher, or the length of the wording makes it more difficult on the Lexile scale. So just taking that into consideration, just take a moment and talk about what it is particularly in your classes that you may need to know their Lexile level, how they're doing on AccuPlacer, different things like that.